Well, well. Like we were right. It's hit the fan. So let's dive in and talk about it. Here's Johnny. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Woo! We got Monday Night Live. It's the zoo. And we had, quite a weekend at the Prepared Mind studio and training facility. I ended up taking a little bit off early Friday, which accounts for the missing Friday Free-for-All Live. And then Sunday, I was met with a surprise. Yesterday, I had a good friend say, I'm taking you for a ride. And I did some special survival training. Some people would call it fun. Some people would say it was sport. And some people would call it torture. Being thrown in water 15 to 20 feet deep that's murky. You can't see the bottom or what's coming, where there are live animals known to eat humans was quite a sensation and feeling. But nothing's too good for me. Nothing's too good for you either. Folks, it is Monday Night Live, and here's a bit of the old Pirates drink. Captain Morgan for you guys to start the show. So raise your glass and a toast as we have 100 people plus live. We're coming on live. We're going to get started. We're going to go for 2 hours. Your guys' super chats is where we're at. So starting it off. Yes, sir. Yep. When you've been drug out in a boat and thrown to sharks and alligators or whatever else is out there. I was even told there were some saltwater crocs that had been spotted about. How much of that was just to scare the ever-loving shit out of me? I don't know. Well, I hope you had a great weekend, folks. We got a lot to talk about. Now, here's the deal with the Prepared Mind channel. This is the live show. It's the late edition of the Sunday Night Live. It's the Monday Night Live Zoo. And you can participate by hitting the super chat button right up there. Super chat button. Okay, thank you. I got it, Jolene. Super chat button. Posting a question and I'll answer it. Unlike the Democrats. They've been asked questions like, let's see, Democrat Raskin, right? Dumbass Raskin is what I called him. He was asked about Biden's Inflation Reduction Act. He was asked a very important question, and that was, how will it actually lower inflation? His response? Next question. Not even next question, please. Folks, I don't have a problem answering questions. That's how this works. You guys put in a super chat. I give you my answer, which is typically, I'm going to say it is 99% right. I really think so. Anyways, Jolene, I'm waiting for that special message you just said was coming. And we will get rolling. Where to start? I'm going to start with one of my favorites. I say, if you got a super chat question, you get it in. Darcy T starts with a $50 super chat donation. She says, good evening, John. No questions, just some dough for the spam fund. And that's right, coming at you live from the bunker where we keep a good supply of scotch, rum, spam, and tuna, every fisherman's delight. I tell you what, thank you very much, Darcy T. Normally she has some great questions, folks. I've got a lot of questions about what is happening out there. Now, where do we start with it? I'm going to start here while I'm waiting for more super chats. And this is incredible, folks. I talk about communists often, how they're the enemy of liberty, freedom, and America. That is our country. And when I say communist, folks, I'm not making jokes. I'm deadly serious about their existence. And in this broadcast, we're going to talk about them specifically, generally, and exactly how dangerous they are. Now, get this. The CIA director, that is the man in charge. CIA Director Burns was surrounded by communists in his last job. Okay. He joins other CIA directors and Obama's stooges and lackeys who admitted they were communists. Folks, the current Biden regime's CIA director, William Burns, was president of the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. Now, you remember these other communist institutions that have been around, right? The Confucius Institute, they've been getting kicked out of the USA because they're so avowedly communist, so directly tied to the Chinese Communist Party that they couldn't be hidden anymore. But get this, right? This clown, the current CIA director, William Burns, was the president of the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. This DC think tank had at least, folks, at least 20 undisclosed Chinese Communist Party members. That's right, folks, CCP members. Now, this is all turned up by a Daily Caller News Foundation investigation. And folks, at least 20 people in this organization where the current Biden regime's man came from, that's a lot of communism. That's a lot of communism. Okay. And by the way, former CIA Director John Brennan, who I believe was in the got it, Jolene, who was in the President Obama. Biden has never been more than the vice president, and he still admits that, right? John Brennan, former CIA director, also worked, right, for the CIA and admitted he was a communist. This is incredibly dangerous. And remember, folks, the Biden regime has come out and said not they're the new world order, even though that exact phrase has been used by former presidents as well as Biden when he was vice president. But now they have updated it, upgraded the terminology. It is now the liberal world order. Bad news, folks. Very dangerous news for you and me. We're up over 200 people live, folks. I want to get up to 500. That means this internet address right up here, right up there. Share that address with everyone you know, right? Hit thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the Prepared Mind channel on YouTube because you will get posts on YouTube. And more importantly, we would love to have you on the preparedmind.club or subscribestar.com, both of which are premium sites where you get special content and you get to join us live all the time, Monday through Fridays. But here we go, right? Here we go. You, by the way, you make this show happen. Without you guys, it's over. Without you guys, I just pound nails. There's the Subscribe Star address. Jolene will put up the Prepared Mind link as well. Both of them, folks, get you premium membership for $2 a month. That's less than 7 cents a day. That's less than a cup of coffee at Denny's or Caro's or IHOP. All right. It's incredible, folks. I think the amount of information we provide for $2. Now, some people do $5, $10, $20. That's great. We love you all. We need you all to make this show happen. And folks, I'm going to tell you, whether you go to church or not, whether you're a Catholic, Protestant, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're white or black or any color in between. It doesn't matter. You are hated by the communists in Washington, D.C. Now, a writer for The Atlantic, a very extremely liberal rag newspaper, right? Internet column. He has gone so far now to nakedly expose Democrat beliefs about you and how you and me are the enemy of them, the liberal world order, that he is claiming that the rosary is an extremist symbol for Christian nationalists. What is a rosary? If you're not a Catholic, you may not know. A rosary is a necklace. It has beads on it, and most typically also, or I won't say most typically, I've seen a cross on them, right? Typically, they're dark brown or black beads, the rosary beads, right? The Democrat, globalist, and all leftist folks are pretending that they have never changed, right? And that it is the freedom-loving right-wingers, that is you and me, who are growing more and more and more extreme. They're claiming that they, folks, have never changed. I don't think they have changed, though. I'm agreeing with them there. I think they're becoming more outspoken, more ostentatious, more bellicose, more grossly vociferous and outspoken. And they're abusing their power in government, folks, by acting out on their communist dreams. Folks, remember this. All communists hate religion because it teaches a moral foundation. Communists have none. Morality is what they define it at the moment. And if you have power and authority and you can exercise that self-induced morality, then all the better, folks. Right? Commies hate morality, religion, free will, the United States of America, our Constitution, and they hate free humans, folks. Now, so how are they, right, showing us who they are? An example, please? You bet. I'm here to help. They're claiming, folks, a symbol of morality for Catholics. That's a religion, folks, based on morality, maybe not for some of them, but for the practicing individuals, right? One of their symbols is the rosary beads, right? A symbol of morality, right? Penitence, decency, right? The rosary beads. They're saying that that is a symbol of Christian nationalism. Oh, folks, now you might say, yeah, it's good to be both a Christian and a nationalist because you love the United States of America and our Constitution. Folks, that's what you and I might think, but everyone knows, and only communists believe truly, that Christian nationalists are terrorists. Did you know that? Christian nationalists are Nazis. Christian nationalists are white supremacists. They truly believe that, folks. Truly, folks, people like Biden, Nancy Pelosi, even though they are supposedly Catholics, yeah, they also believe in abortion and it should be for everybody at all times, anytime they want. Right? The likes of Merrick Garland, the FBI, General Millie Vanilli, Defense Secretary Lloyd the Loser Austin, and all of the District of Columbia, folks, and all of the U.S. government, they believe in order to heal the world, they have to destroy and purify it of all Christian nationalists. In other words, folks, it's a war on morality and the United States of America. Understand, folks, that me and you, we're all in their crosshairs now. Thank you, Jolene. If you know, folks, any Democrats, don't make any mistakes around them. Understand that they hate your politics. And I'm going to say odds are they hate you for them. Because I've talked to people, folks, where they're all cool until they find out I'm conservative, and then they turn on me like that. And they let me know how much they hate me and my belief system, folks. If you know Democrats, they hate you. They have no idea why. Just know that they're following the leaders, right? And now you know why, folks, that the Atlantic and all the Democrats think that the rosary, a symbol of penitence, is an extremist symbol for Christian nationalists, which is code for Nazi who must be destroyed by communist government in District of Columbia. Is that unbelievable or what? Now, what is true is that that is not fabricated. These people are really that screwed up. Let's do this while I'm going to catch my breath. Let's get to one of the super chats and see what the heck is happening. Quick drink here. Ron Stryker checks in with a 762 super chat donation. And he says, John, you forgot that communists do have a religion. Their religion is the state. And thank you very much, Ron. You are absolutely correct. It's not a religion that believes in a eternal, all-powerful deity that created the universe. Gotcha, Jolene. They don't have that kind of religion. And Ron goes on to say their religion is the state, and the state is the giver and taker of all things. That's where they draw the line between that which is spiritual and above and beyond our physical being. They deny the spirit of the body and only look to the physical, and they believe their religion, folks, is that the state, meaning the government, is the giver and taker of all things. They allow life and they'll take life without question, blinking, or thinking. And that makes them, as far as they're concerned, all powerful, because they deny, folks, they deny anything bigger than that which they can see and control with their hands and their fists. Truly a sick people. And it's not just the communists in the United States government in DC. It's communists around the world. Thank you, Ron Stryker. Thank you for that great super chat donation. It's not just communists here. It's communists around the world, and it's communists, folks, through all history. That's right, all history. By all history, I mean go back 100 years. Go back 200 years when communism first was formally introduced by Karl Marx. Little over 200 years ago, folks. They've always believed that. And they believe also, if you will, in the Machiavellian belief system that the end justifies the means. And what that does is it excuses them from all morality. And you'll notice this isn't a preaching Jesus moment. This isn't a shalom to all moment. This is what we're dealing with in reality, folks. The means to the end. In other words, to get to their goal, they're willing to do anything. And that includes sacrificing truth, fact, reality itself. Communism, folks. Now, we've got more nuclear weapon fear coming out of the federal government, folks. You want some FBI bullshit? Here it is. Trump supporters are threatening to set off a dirty bomb over the Mar-a-Lago raid of President Trump's estate. Really, Trump supporters are threatening to set off a dirty bomb? Are you telling me that Trump supporters have access to depleted uranium, DU? They have access to enriched uranium? While they have access to plutonium? They may not make a full atomic weapon, but Trump supporters who can't seem to put together a radical militia that does anything more than meet for beers and do some training in the woods with their rifles, all of a sudden, they have the technical expertise to set off a dirty bomb and possibly even an atomic one. Now, with all the might of the United States government, all the money they could need, all of the assets and resources of the federal government. It took them years to come up with the technology to create the first atomic bomb that was dropped in Nevada. Actually, it was just ignited. It wasn't even dropped. And that bomb was huge, folks. It weighed tons. So you're telling me a bunch of us freedom-loving Americans have millions of dollars in equipment and access to not only the materials, but the know-how, the machining, all of that to make a big, giant, dirty bomb? This is fear porn by the FBI. Now, one of us little YouTube guys, right? We can do fear porn all we want. Oh my God, they're going to kill us all in a week, right? There's guys out there always promising that they have insider information on what's happening. No, we have insider best guess information at the very best. But now we're supposed to believe, folks, it's unbelievable. More fear porn coming not from us, me or you, but from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. People are pissed though, folks. There were not riots, not looting, not burning of police stations, not attacking of law enforcement. There were peaceful protests all over the nation calling for the defunding, not of law enforcement, but of a specific political law enforcement organization called the FBI. Yeah, people were calling for that, but they didn't say, we don't need any law enforcement in the country. They just said the FBI, folks. Just get rid of them, undo them, take away their power, because they are a danger, folks. When a federal law enforcement institution is spreading fear using the perceived recognized authority that they're supposed to have and represent to tell people that people who support Trump are creating a dirty bomb. Now, this doesn't work on me. It doesn't work on you. You know who it works on, though? Every last one of those leftists who believes every bit of bullshit they hear on CNN, who believes that Catholics and their rosary beads are white nationalists, who, are absolute Nazis, right? That's who believes their shit. Unbelievable, folks. It is the FBI, folks. The FBI is the one who are making up a bunch of shit. And we just crossed 300 people live on a Monday night. Folks, President Biden doesn't get that on YouTube Live. He barely gets that after they shuts down, and then people continue to go see what the president had to say today. Unbelievable. All right, we got a super chat donation. We're going to get to it right now. And we got Rick O'Connell with a $20 super chat donation. I'll make you famous, Rick. And this is what he has to say. He says, for the SHTF Beer Fund, keep up the great work, brother, and Semper Fi. By the way, hashtag fuck Joe Biden and Trump DeSantis for 2024, make America great again. Oh, if we could just have strong candidates. Thank you, Jolene. Thumbs up for you as well. If we could just have strong candidates like President Trump, like Governor DeSantis, if we had not 2, but 10, 20, 50 strong Republicans. In fact, Carrie Lake, the Republican gubernatorial nominee for Arizona, said Trump and DeSantis have BDE. Interesting. A woman, she I think she identifies as a woman, the strongest candidate in Arizona for governor, and she won it, right? Talks about Trump and DeSantis as having BDE. That's big dick energy. Unbelievable. I was like, whoa. And she doesn't have a filter. She doesn't care. She has been attacked, folks, as if she were an injured gazelle by a pack of ravenous hyenas, the media. And she doesn't care, and she fights them off. And she even, wants, I guess, Trump and DeSantis to have toxic masculinity. In fact, it was reaffirmed today that Democrat men have low testosterone. Isn't that fascinating? Low testosterone. They've been getting into the soy a little too much. And I'll tell you what, it does tend to make men, well, men who have low testosterone, low T, they're weaker. They're weaker. They're softer. In fact, they rely on government handouts more. That's why they like having that government safety net, right? They're weak, so they want government to protect them and care for them. Unbelievable, folks. Yeah, but BDE, look out. Maybe they'll make a pill for that. One to get you there and one to take it away. Make sure you don't get the one that takes away your BDE. Oh, unbelievable. Yeah. Thank you again, Rick. I appreciate the support here. And wow. Oh, by the way, $50 super chat gets you a shot on record supporting my bad habits. Okay. And I think by the end of the show, typically, and we go 2 hours during our live segments, I get several of those. And it's by the end of the show, I'm pretty much snockered. All right. But I never, ever, ever, ever lose my articulation. If you got a question, a comment about a person, place, or thing, a subject, topic, philosophy, the future, history, SHTF, you name it, hit that super chat button right up there. Hit that super chat button, make a donation to the Get the Fuck Back and Stay Back Fund. And that's exactly what we're going to do, folks. Read what you have to say, and I will make you famous. While we're waiting on that, no, let's get right to it right now. We got another super chat, and it's Bob Hunter with a 10-pound super chat. And he says, John, I'm from the land of Scotland. He says, but geography does not separate our beautiful souls. Love to you and all freedom fighters against the clown snails. I tell you what, folks, America, our system of governance, our belief, right, was founded, the foundation was the common law. The common law was the law that we know, right? Nature's law, common law, God's law. What the people understood. It wasn't the king's law. It wasn't equity. It was common law. And that was the law that they agreed they would live by in America. That's English common law. That law was also shared in Scotland and Ireland and Wales. They understood it. They knew it. Everyone knew it, and they knew when the law was violated. There were no special provisions that allowed kings to screw their people over, right? If the king attacked his own servants, or I'm sorry, subjects, then the people knew that that was a lawless king, a tyrant. Well, guess what? Right? We know better. We do. We know what a tyrant is. Just like you, Bob, right? And I would hope that, you go by Robert, one of the great Scotsmen out there, Robert the Bruce, right? Helped fight, right? The Longshanks, and a terrible tyrant, right? And won Scotland its independence. Folks, the people of England, Scotland, Ireland, they've been at war with each other many times over tyranny, just as the United States in 1776 finally told King George, go fuck yourself, right? And folks, they fought back and they won their freedom as well. So yeah, folks, we share a lot with our English brethren, though my great sires were Germanic as well as Scandinavian. But that same desire, folks, in fact, it was the English, the Irish, the Scots, and Germans who first settled colonial North America as the British colonies, that is. I know that the Scandinavians, the Swedes, and others joined the French up in what is now Canada, right? We know all that. But yes, we do share, folks, the same passions, that same genetic demand for freedom. Other people around the world don't quite get it the same way you and I do. You and I feel it, right? All the way to the bone, what freedom is about. For others, it's just a dream or a fantasy or even a weak philosophy. To a communist, they see it as their enemy. All right, let's do this. Let's get to let's get to the next thing. We got Jay Miskinnis. And thank you very much, John. He did a 1, 2, 3 super chat donation. He says, welcome home, my friend. I barely made it back, folks. A short weekend turned into a long weekend. Some relaxing turned into an ass-kicking good time. And it was ended with, John, you survived. And so we're going to sit down and have some drinks. Woo! Okay, so let's do another super chat. And thank you, John. We got Bob Hunter with another $5 super chat. I'm sorry, £5 super chat donation. And I tell you, I would love to visit Scotland and just tour the distilleries and meet the great people of Scotland. I don't, I'm not good with my Gaelic, but yeah, I can certainly delight in a delicious Scotch. Well, today, of course, is rum, that fine Caribbean drink that pirates, that is those who chose not to work for the king, but rather privateers, free men, chose to drink. Okay, thank you again, Bob. And that's it. I like the logo you have, the cat there, the calico. Funny story. Love calico cats. Okay, let's move on if we shall. I think we got another super chat donation. And we want to get to these because you guys get to be the star of the show. You guys support the show. You guys directly support it with your super chat donations. Whew. So, did I miss something, Jolene? Did I miss it? Did it flash up there? We have another super chat donation, or do I move on? Oh, we're going to save it for a minute. Okay, because I've got mine, folks. Get this. This jackass supreme, this man who heads a corporation, took advantage of the U.S. government, the National Institutes of Health, and took advantage of Dr. Fauci. That's right. Little Dr. Doom. He came out, Albert Bourla, CEO of the much vaunted, the much hated Pfizer, that pharmaceutical giant. He claimed that his product was 100% effective in preventing cerveza bug. Oh yeah, folks. CEO Albert Bourla of Pfizer, quadruple juicinated, he claims. I don't believe he is. Not an iota, not a bit. Oh, and we have 316 people live. Let's get it up there to 400. Share that address. We'll get this, folks. Quadruple Jim Jones juice recipient, Pfizer CEO, douche superlative, right? With his 100% effective Jim Jones juice just coursing through his veins, has now caught COVID. Well. What does that tell you, folks? Either he didn't take it or he's talking out his ass. Tell you what, I'm willing to bet it's a little bit, no, it's a lot of both. Talking out his ass and lying, and he took the money. I don't think he took the Jim Jones juice. I think he lied all along, but he took the money. And how many people have been injured? How many people got sick? How many people have lost their lives? Oh, it's a big deal, folks. It's a big deal. And I want to thank Fuzz, old Fuzzy Fork out there, for letting me know. He was the first one to let me know. Now, the 7th Canadian doctor to die in 2 weeks. 7 doctors in 2 weeks. How does that happen? This was a 26-year-old neurosurgeon, folks. To be a neurosurgeon by age 26, I think you got to be a frickin' Doogie Howser and start college at age 12. 26-year-old neurosurgeon died, folks, in July. I guess they kept that one kind of quiet, right? 7 doctors in Canada died in 2 weeks. And Canada has a very strict, if you want to live your life, if you want to have a job, if you want to have a bank account, then you better get your Jim Jones juice. Folks, people having problems, getting sick, injured and dying from that shit. And yeah, the quadruple Jim Jones Juice CEO. Right. Now get this. Quadruple Jim Jones Juiced Defense Secretary Lloyd the Loser Austin. Guess what? He has now caught Cerveza bug for the second time. Do you believe for a second that he got the real Jim Jones juice, not once, but twice? And then he got the juice booster, not once, but twice on top of that? Do you believe that shit? I don't. Not for a freaking second. So it makes him a liar or a fucking hypocrite. Oh, I know. It makes him both. Both liar and hypocrite. What a bunch of jackasses. And what are they trying to do? Never mind the hypocrisy. Never mind the appearance of being liars. The purpose behind this is to scare people into getting more. You got it. Jim Jones juice jabberoos. Sickening people, folks. They make me sick. All right. You guys want it. You got it. It is now time for some super chat donations. Let's see what you want to talk about. You got a question? You got a comment? Person, place, thing, event, history, future, past, present. It's your turn. This is your show, your chance to be the star, to make a statement, ask a question. And unlike Representative, whatever the hell he is, Raskin, I will answer. And it is Donuts checking in with a $5 super chat donation. He says, Semper Fi, bud. And for those who don't know, Semper Fi is Latin. It's short for Semper Fidelis. And it means always faithful. And you know what? You need to be faithful too, folks. What you know to be the truth. He says, John, you predict people are going to lose their shit like we've been seeing? Maybe they are Manchurian candidates. Thanks and thoughts. I'll tell you what. I will. Let's talk about this a little bit here. What? A Democrat man. And I'm going to tell you right now, he was a Democrat. No doubt about it. I tell you what, Donuts, Democrat man kills one, injures 17 people by driving through a crowd in Pennsylvania at a fundraiser. And then he murdered a woman in a neighboring community. That's normal, right? No, this guy sounds like an MK Ultra Democrat stool. A shit. Did he just lose his shit one day, right? Like we're saying here, or are they Manchurian candidates / mind-controlled, mind-numb Democrat idiots? And they've been convinced, folks, that this guy here and that you in your chair, you are the bad person, right? You're the Christian nationalist. You're the Nazi. You, me, we're the bad guys. What? Oh, I'm sorry I paid my taxes last year and gonna pay even more this year thanks to the Biden Inflation Reduction Act, right? You're going to spend more money and it's going to reduce inflation. The only way it can do that is by taking money out of your pocket and my pocket so we don't have money to spend on goods. So there's a lot of goods out there, and so they have to lower their prices in order to get people to buy them. That's called demand destruction. That's not inflation reduction. But folks, it doesn't matter how little people demand of something. If a product costs $20 to make, they've got to sell it for $20 plus in order to have a little profit, to keep their business open, to pay their employees, to pay their taxes, right? If here's what it costs to make a product. Make the product, and this is what it costs right over here to make the product, pay wages, pay the taxes, pay the expenses, right? All of that. You can only reduce it not to the cost of the product, right? But to the cost of all the product and taxes on top of it. In other words, these people are full of shit. They don't know how to answer a freaking simple question. I will. But we've got these screwballs out here, folks, that believe everything these idiots say. Oh, they're going to reduce taxes with spending more money. And also, don't forget, 87,000 new IRS agents, many of whom will be given a badge, given a gun, and given orders to go kick down people's doors, arrest them, and use deadly force if needed. That is, be prepared to shoot Americans that we accuse of being something that they may not be. Folks, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Since when does being innocent until proven guilty mean you can kick down someone's fucking door and shoot them if they don't get to the floor fast enough and kiss their feet? Right? Unbelievable, folks. 1 dead, 17 injured, and then another woman murdered by a Democrat. I don't believe for a second any of these murderers that run around doing stuff are Republicans, folks. I mean, let's go ahead and put his comment back up if you got it handy, Jolene, because this is an important topic. By Donuts, right? People are losing their shit. They're losing their sense of fidelity. They're losing their sense of reality. It's unbelievable, folks. They're worried about you as a Christian. They're worried about you as an agnostic. They're worried about you if you want your freedom, right? Here's another one, folks. Thank you again, Donuts. We'll get you off the screen so I can get all my hand signals in here. You want another mind-controlled Democrat? Another MK Ultra Manchurian nuthead? A man goes to Washington, D.C., sets his car on fire, puts flammable liquids all over it, drives, folks. He drives to Capitol Hill, slams his car into a barricade, gets out of the vehicle, fires his gun in the air, indiscriminately, bam, 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 like an idiot. Then he shoots himself at the U.S. Capitol, also known as the Pelosi Mansion. Then he killed himself, right? Kills himself. Ugh. Does that sound like a Republican? Does that sound like someone who loves life, right? Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. If you're a Republican, if you are a true American, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. If you kill yourself, you can't enjoy the life part. Only a dumbass Democrat kills himself instead of life. Now, I don't want someone to say, but you guys, you patriots are willing to die for freedom. It is because when freedom is at risk, you have no life if freedom is lost. So it is worth risking your life to secure your ever-loving liberty, your life. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, property ownership, freedom to move, freedom to speak, freedom of self-governance, folks. It's such an important topic that Donuts brought up. Such an important topic. I'm going to give you one more, man. One more, and then we'll get to some more super chat donations. Okay? It's just incredible. Okay? Law enforcement in the summer of 2020, they allowed rioting, they allowed looting, they allowed murder, they allowed radical Black Lives Matter and radical Antifa elements to attack police, throw rocks, bricks, frozen bottles of water. They allowed them to shoot lasers at their eyes and throw explosive devices, improvised explosive devices, IEDs. Some caused injuries, some caused hearing loss, some blinded, some burned, right? They used fireworks as explosives on the police. These same Democrats who allowed rioting, looting, and murder, they bailed out these criminals, got them out of jail, and encouraged them to continue their felony activity, their insurrection, if you will. One of the main, shall we say, antagonists was Kamala Harris, Vice President of the United States. She should be impeached right now for what she did. If we get a Republican Congress, even if we don't have the Senate, Congress better impeach her, Biden, Merrick Garland, Christopher Wray, and also the CIA director for being a communist. They all need to be censored first. Then they need to be impeached and then tried in the Senate for their crimes against the people of the United States of America, crimes against the Constitution, and violation of their oaths. Unfreaking believable. Right? So after all this rioting, looting, murdering, and everything else I just said, The police in Ohio shut down a little girl's lemonade stand. Hello, police. Where was your bravery, right, when you were attacked by a bunch of communists? 8-year-old girl, folks, an 8-year-old girl in Ohio, her lemonade stand was shut down by police because a food festival complained. A food festival. Who holds festivals, folks? I guess we all do. But there's Republican, freedom-loving festivals, and there's communist festivals, right? Like Butt Slam Palooza festivals. Yeah, unbelievable, folks. Right? What side are you on? Oh, I've got more. But right now we're going to get to your super chat donation because it's your show. And we got Bob Hunter, who's back again with another 20-pound super chat donation. He says, John, I don't want to steal your show. I love you and women and Jolene. Oh, he said, woo man. That's ooh man. And Jolene, not looking for an answer, but I would love your thoughts on human kindness. Okay. All right, let's leave Bob's question up there because I want it well understood. Human kindness. I am the epitome of what the scumbag, communist, Democrat losers call toxic masculinity. I'm 6'6", 260 plus pounds. I'm a former Marine. I'm a general contractor. I won a strongman competition. I like to fight and do a lot of big manly things. Okay. Very much masculine. So what do I know about human kindness? I study philosophy. I study law. I study history. Human kindness. It's not whether you have a penis or vagina. It's about whether you accept that that's what they mean. Is it kind to allow a Fruit Loop, someone who is self-delusional, to believe that though they have a penis, they're actually a woman? Is it more kind to encourage stupidity? Or is it more kind to tell them the truth? Sorry, there, Fruit Loop. You are a man if you have XY chromosomes. Nothing will change that. Putting in extra earrings, wearing makeup, or doing a weenie tuck doesn't make you a woman. Now, having said that, is it cruel to agree with them that, yeah, you can be a girl? Or is it mean? Right? Is it cruel? Is it mean? Or is it kind? Giving the truth. How can the truth and fact be unkind? Right? Now, my thoughts on human kindness. I just talked about gender dysphoria. Psychology used to consider that a mental illness. Now it's encouraged by many in the pseudo-scientific, psychological, psychiatric community. I think that those who do that are unkind because they aren't truthful and they're not factual, they're not honest, and they're allowing the delusional to increase their delusion, which I think also increases their unhappiness, their dissatisfaction with their own lives by encouraging them to live a lie. Now, human kindness. One of the most, I think, gracious acts one human can do to another is to recognize their independence and their freedom from not only my control, but the control of any others, even their government. That is freedom. To be kind is to allow others to be free. To enslave someone with chains or rope or the psychological constraints of law or the color of law, that is the appearance of law, and using threats, right? Coercion, duress, right, as a means to control and bind others. Is that kind? Is that compassionate? No. Human kindness is accepting that other are free, and also, folks, having, I would say, the courage to accept your own freedom. I think many out there don't have the courage to accept their own freedom. The responsibility of being a free man or woman is incredible. You have to be responsible for yourself. Do communists accept responsibility for themselves? The answer is fuck no, they don't. Communists do not accept responsibility. They lay it on the government and say, government must care for me. Government must care for me and my family and everything, have to give me a job and food. Is that kind of government? To allow someone to labor under the delusion that the government gives a shit and will support them? The government only gives what it has, and the government only has what it takes from others through legalized theft, whether they take money or food or materials, what have you. So to be a communist is to be unkind to your fellow man by requiring and empowering and allowing and encouraging government to steal from others to give to them because they won't accept responsibility for themselves. Communists are the least unkind, not just for their direct murder, but because those who support, want, ask for, and demand communism are willing to support and demand the murder of those who will not acquiesce to the evil of communist government. Socialist government, folks. And all a communist is a socialist in a big fucking hurry. They're all the same. Am I passionate? You're damn right I am. Right? This weekend's activities kicked my ass. They also supercharged and superheated me. Folks, I saw the beauty of life, right? And I enjoyed the perils, the terror of what it means to be free and to struggle for life. Have a good time, you bet. Right? Swim for your life, you bet. Bob, my Scottish brother, that is a great question. You're not stealing the show. You're asking real questions. Real questions, folks. Am I passionate about stuff? You fucking bet I am. Right? You bet. Right? We got Stephen Conlon. He's also over there in jolly old England, in Belfast, Ireland. We've got our brother there as well who chides in on the show, right? That's right, Vincent. We've got our good friend over there in the Netherlands, right? Remy Mersch. We've got people around the world, folks. We've got great people down in Australia, New Zealand, in Mexico, South America, up in Canada. This show has thousands of people, 82,000 subscribers. Oh, shit. This weekend, I'm walking up to a bar. Imagine that. And I yell at the bartender, "Hey, man, I'm looking for," and this dude turns around at the bar. His name is Michael. He's a marine mechanic. He looks at me and goes, "You're that prepper guy." Right? He heard my voice. He goes, "All I had to do was hear your voice, and I knew it was you." And anyways, a nice guy. I met him and his wife. It was great meeting you, Mike, along with the other Mike that you work for there. And location to remain secret. I always protect the absolute anonymity of us, folks. But those are some great questions talking about human kindness. It is a great philosophical question. And again, if I was in Scotland, I would probably be at a pub every night to have a meal cooked by whoever cooked, right? Whatever local specialty, to enjoy the town scotch or ale, and just to enjoy life, folks, and meet great people and learn from them and respect them. And that is human kindness. Okay, let's do this. I think we've got another super chat donation. I can hear it out there. It's coming. And there it, oh, man, goodness. Cottage Farm, thank you again for all your support. I know you got to do things. She says, "I'll be listening, but got to do the things. Glad you had a good training weekend." You bet. My arms were pumped, folks. It was crazy. But like I said, I could hear Jaws music playing. Dun, 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 dun. I was turning around and looking for anything, whether it was going to be a freaking gator or some kind of radical, crazy looking tarpon or gar or some shit. Thank you, Cottage. You see, I think there's a big difference, folks. Uh-oh, I poured that one a little too tall. And since that was such a generous donation, I'm going to have to sip off a little bit of this. Also, thank you again That little sip off there to Cottage Farm. Thank you. Yeah, it's incredible, folks, where we're heading. The passion that you guys hear from me comes from an introvert. I like to keep shit bottled up, man. I like to savor the passions that I have, and I share them with others. So I share them with you guys. Right? This is where I come to share these great passions and philosophies and thoughts that we all feel about freedom, even if you can't articulate it, even if you can't vocalize it to make the words, your vocabulary, right, match the intensity of feelings that you have. I truly believe that the feelings of freedom and love, our Constitution, our history, our lives, whether you're black or white, doesn't matter, Native American or Asian, doesn't matter, whether your family served as indentured servants, as slaves, or came here as free men and women, it doesn't matter. If you understand the value of freedom and you respect your fellow man, if you do that, you have love in your heart. And that love, it knows no bounds. It can accept anyone, folks, that is on your side, and you'll stand with them. Right? That's what it was like to be a Marine, to see that, to feel it, to understand, right? True camaraderie. Now, communist, oh, they're despicable creatures, folks. They don't have love in their heart. They have hatred and anger, right? That truly is the dark side, because they're cruel and they're vicious and they're liars and they're hypocrites. They will steal from others, right? They will empower the government to become thieves on their behalf. They'll lie to you and tell them they're on your side when they're not. They're chicken shit. Folks, they aren't even chicken shit. They're less than cockroach. That's how bad they are. They're full of hatred and anger, and your love for life and your caringness, right? Your empathy for, your desire to do good for yourself and all mankind through acts of charity, kindness, and your acts as an individual human being who is free. They hate you for it. That you can be independent of others, work with others, right? And recognize that others are free. They hate that because they can't have it. That's not who they are. In their hearts, they're the worst and they're the lowest. They know it and they use the excuse. There is no God, they say, so that they can attack you for having a God. Your belief in God, the great creator, right? The Almighty. They hate you for it because you have that satisfaction of knowing there's a creator and that you can believe in something bigger than just your own life. So they created their own false God, the government, and they gave it all power. And they worship that power, and they allow that power to do all manner of evil on behalf of itself. Creation, worshiping creation. That is what is wrong about that. And they sacrifice to it, and they'll lie for it, cheat, and steal. They are ugly, ugly people inside, folks, with black hearts and even blacker souls. And by black, I mean rotten, folks. Rotten to the core. And once again, I'm waxing rather dramatically philosophical. Cottage Farm, thank you again for the great donation. Thank you so much. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. I truly wouldn't. Let's do this. Let's do another super chat donation. We're at the 1 hour mark, and we've got $10, folks. $10 super chat donation from White Mountains Prepper. And I saw him early when I finally got in the last second, logged on and said, holy cow, we got to get ready. I saw White Mountains Prepper in the chat earlier. He said, when do you think it's time? When do you think it's go time against this tyrannical government? When the corrupt voting system doesn't remove the Demcoms, that would be Democrat communists, and Rhino Republicans in November? If it were not for Big John and this channel, my wife and I would both be dead. Had to take 2 antibiotics to beat the newest one. They sprayed us here about 5 weeks ago. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't want to take credit for anything. I appreciate the solidarity, the union we all share, which is a love of our lives and our passion, our freedoms, our liberty, and our true country. All I'm doing is sharing thoughts, and you and your wife saved yourselves. You and your wife saved yourselves by taking action for yourselves to save your own lives. I'm glad that we have the preparedmind.club, and that through the preparedmind.club, we have affiliates with people who sell, folks, medical goods. Okay, we have that. Not for ourselves. Well, we use it for and have it for ourselves in the preps, right? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Medicine, folks. Ammunition, guns, long-term food storage, right? Prepared foods, raw food ingredients, water purification, all that's at the club so you can save yourselves. All I do is work with you guys, learn with you guys, right? We all want to learn. It's incredible. It's incredible. Let's get that question back up there. Part 1, if you don't mind, Jolene. It's really an important topic. When is it going to be go time? Okay. White Mountains preppers, and it looks like he was a naval officer. Semper Fi, man. He says, Big John, do you think that the green light will go on for Second Amendment rebellion if the corrupt voting system fails to deliver us from the Democrat communist tyranny this November? I have to be very careful as I announce this, right? I am not telling anyone to rebel, to commit insurrection, to fight, to do anything violent, illegal, harmful, dangerous, or in any way, folks. I can't say anything that is a violation of terms of service or the community guidelines. I don't glamorize violence. I can talk about history or predictions. The green light, go time, right? When you start hearing, right, shots fired and people hitting the dirt and you hear someone scream, get some, right? You're going to know you're in the presence of some fighting men. You'll know when the time comes. I think that the green light, go time, it's going to be time to get some, which is a Marine Corps expression, folks, right? It's going to happen when the government fires first. That is my opinion. It is my prediction. It is not to be taken as 100% fact. It is my prediction and my experience in studying tyranny, that it is the tyrants that fire first. And trust me when I say this, if you look at the facts, it is tyrants who are in charge now. It is tyrants who are trying to remove our liberties, tyrants who are attacking our liberties, our laws, our history. They're attacking our children. The tyrants are in the process of acting very dangerously against our republic and the sovereign people, right? Our rights are being attacked. Our lives are being attacked. Our way of life is being attacked. Who we are is being attacked by the government. So when is go time? When is it? Right? Go time is when it's in your face and when you see no other alternative. Right? We're seeing a First Amendment attack, a Second Amendment attack, a Fourth and Fifth Amendment attack, a Seventh Amendment attack. Cruel and unusual punishment. Seen any examples of that? 10th Amendment, right? States' rights. All rights or authority or power not specifically granted the federal government or the United States government or the DC government are reserved to the states and the people respectively. That is to say, overstepping the bounds of their authority, the federal government is acting unconstitutionally. And I see it happen all the time. Right? The people, that is you and I think have been very generous, very, shall we say, patient with the president, the Madam Speaker, Upchuck, leader of the Senate, the entire deep state, the FBI, the Attorney General's office, the CIA, all of these scumbags in DC. We've been very patient, but our patience is wearing thin. And the government understands that. And that's why they fear the people and they fear your rights. They're the ones who are afraid. The American people, I keep hearing from all the time, White Mountains Prepper is not the first to say, when is it go time? When do we get some? Right? What that tells me is the people are ready to fight for their rights. The government, the tyrants are too late, as usual. By the time they finally get enough guts to openly attack the people, by then the people are ready for it. You can take some by surprise, and some will give up. Some will be caught off guard and have no choice but to surrender, right, and be taken captive. But a lot of people will recognize, well, I guess if that's the case, then you're not going to take me alive. And that's when they keep and bear arms. This push, if you think in the United States of America, for constitutional carry and concealed carry, the push for the Second Amendment to be recognized by local and state governments and telling the federal government, go fuck yourself, get out of my face. It's a constitutional right. It's the Second Amendment, shall not be infringed, as in English. No amount of subterfuge, no amount of sophistry, no amount of lies will remove that inalienable right to keep and bear arms. The people are awake. It's too late for the federal government. They aren't honest enough to fight us directly, folks, so they'll lie to you. They'll cheat. They'll steal. They'll attack you like jackals. They'll try and get you one-on-one so they can outnumber you, surround you, and take you down. And then they'll use mainstream media, folks. They'll use the mainstream media to smear you the same way they're smearing Trump. They're smearing Trump in order to scare you into believing that they have the rightful power and authority and that whoever they arrest is wrong. We understand, folks, the January 6th prisoners right now, over 18 months, they've been sitting in jail without a trial. That's cruel and unusual punishment. They're being denied, right? They're being denied their representation, legal representation. They're being denied a quick and speedy trial by their peers. The juries in Washington, D.C. are no peer of any American I know. A jury of peers, meaning Americans, not a bunch of hand-picked communist dupes. All right. Once again, I wax long. That's a great topic. I appreciate it very much. Let's do another super chat donation because I'm in the mood for more. And it's Crispy Bacon with a $10 super chat donation. He says, what do you think is the primary target of 87,000 additional armed IRS agents? Whew. Well, I'll tell you what, Chris. I believe the call for 87,000 agents isn't to make them all armed IRS agents or agents who are willing to go out and kill Americans. I don't think every last one of them are. I think that a good contingent, right, of those 87,000 are supposed to be the armed, nasty ones. Now, yeah, they announced that they're going to hire 87,000 of these. I think what they're going to do, and this really is what I believe, and it's just based on a gut feeling, man, because we're still new to this, right? When we get introduced to a new game as Americans or as any people around the world, you're like, well, I'm going to have to play a few hands, right? You sit down at the poker table and someone says, we're going to play Indian No Peaky. You're like, what's Indian No Peaky? And they're like, well, it's an interesting game. We're going to teach you how to play it. It'll take a few hands and then you'll get it. I think, Chris, we're going to have to see how this plays out. We're going to have to see a little bit of these guys at work to understand exactly how they play their game. I really believe that most of these agents are there not to go after billionaires. There's only about 600 of them. And I'm sure they have more powerful attorneys and more money to crush people. And I'm sure that these billionaires make big campaign political contributions. And they would say, Chuck Schumer, Nancy, look, I mean, how much do I have to give to your campaigns before you leave me alone over $100,000, right? And, right. Quid pro quo, done. Okay, so let's talk about millionaires. Millionaires have fantastic accountants. They know the law better than the IRS agents do, and they get spanked in IRS court. IRS agents leave millionaires alone. So that means they're coming after regular people, Chris, like you and me. But how much better is it for the IRS to stand in front of their bosses, a bunch of communist fucks, and say, oh, I just brought down that guy over there. He is a Republican. He contributes to Republican campaigns, and he loves hunting, and he's big in his community. He owns a big old business. He's very important. Let's make an example out of him to scare that entire community. That's who I think they're going after, man. I think they're going after just regular people. Business owners, yeah. Multi-millionaires. No. They'll go after the people that are part of their communities, because that's where the extended threat of auditing, terrorizing people goes. You terrorize a multi-millionaire, someone who's worth $100 million, he's not going to say shit. His agents are fighting. He won't even hear about it. He'll just send his auditors and his attorneys to court. It won't affect what he has for breakfast, lunch, or dinner that day or that week or that year. But the average man, the average business owner who's got his lifeblood poured into his business, his reputation with the community that he shares through civic organizations, whether he's a moose, an elk, a lion, or a mason, it don't matter. And his involvement in city and county politics, his philanthropy, his willingness to share his fortune for doing business with others, it will be drastically affected if he is audited and nailed to the wall, right, in tax court. The IRS can call him a tax cheat and smear him in local media. And that can affect the entire city and county with fear. And that's what I think this is about, Chris, because look what it's done to you and me and others. We're all aware of it, and we're now fearful of these people. Not fearful that they're better than us or right, but fearful, brother. Fearful that we'll be attacked in the dead of night, that we'll be outnumbered by dozens of jackals, and we'll be alone to fight for ourselves. That's the fear that I have. Not the fear of dying, not the fear of others, thinking I'm a bad person, but the fear that I won't be able to put up enough of a fight to withstand these scumbags and set an example to others that you can fight back. And I'm not talking with violence, folks, but in a court of law or an administrative court of the IRS. They will lie, cheat, steal, and use all their power, political and legal, to make examples out of men like you and me, Chris, and women and other strong people who believe in liberty. And the only thing we can do is understand that fear exists, conquer it within ourselves, the way I conquered my fear in that deep, dark, scary water, right? Face it and understand you can win. It's crazy, man. The point of those agents, Chris, right, is to scare us into submission, to make us cowards, and make us to accept the fact that we're cowards and then live as cowards. Well, fuck that, right? That's not me. And I've lived life, man. I know what it's about. I've got enough victories under my belt, right? You can't take those from me. You can take my life, right? But you won't take my liberty from you. Oh, man. Makes me feel poof. Try it, right? Doesn't mean you can't be scared, folks. Right? You can't be scared. There's a difference between, right, being afraid of a situation and then being afraid of who you are. Right? I'm not ashamed or afraid of who I am. All right, let's move on if we shall. I think we got another super chat donation. It's Rick O'Connell with a 556. Folks, you know that number. 556 is the NATO designation for the rifle round. And it's a very small one, but it's also very effective. It's used in the M16 weapon of war or the civilian sporting rifle known as a AR-15. Anyways, Rick, thank you for the great donation. He says, DeSantis authorized a new Florida license plate featuring the Don't Tread on Me slogan and image known as the Gadsden flag. Made my day. Just another big old middle finger to the left. Now get this, folks. I know some people down there in Florida, and I think they're going to be the first ones in line to get the new "Don't Tread on Me, Go Screw Yourself, Joe Biden" flag on their license plate. And it is government issued. Isn't that interesting? In the state of Florida, they're adopting through a license plate, right, this flag. Well, guess what that's going to do, folks? And I don't think anyone will not get this who otherwise would have thought it's a great idea. What better way to advertise to political leftist scumbag douche weenie communist pussies? What better way to let them know how you feel than to give them the Gadsden flag license plate middle finger of joy? Right? Don't tread on me. I imagine there are going to be people. Free men and free women, who have personalized Gadsden flags that'll have little messages in there like "Second A" and shorthand versions of "Try and Take It," right? Or MAGA, right? America First. I'm sure that Florida, because God bless Florida, is going to make all manner of options available so you can politically pronounce that you're a freedom lover, right? And those that disapprove, you're a bunch of communist fucks. All righty. Thank you, Rick O'Connell. And I can't wait. I cannot wait to get examples of this license plate, pictures sent to me. And I'll put them up here on the screen, folks. I don't want pictures that other people have taken. I want pictures of your own family members or friends. That way you can say, hey, it wasn't me. But yeah, I would love to see personalized ones. But folks, that day is coming. Once again, Americans are awake, they're aware, and they're ready. They're prepared. That is the cool part about this. Folks, if you want your questions read, if you want to be famous, if you don't want to be famous, if you have a comment, statement, question, concern, the future, history, hit that super chat button up here. Put in a donation, goes to my Get the Fuck Back and Stay Back fund. Keeps me here in America. I left the state, went to another place, and did some training over the weekend. With a couple more rolls of duct tape, I could have been taken back to the RMZ against my will. But, I want to stay here because the fight is here in America. God bless them all, folks. They're going to give us a chance to prove, right, that the human desire for freedom and liberty is greater than that of people who would be willing to take it. Come and take it. That's another great slogan. I can't wait to see, folks, the expression, the tears, right, of those who are trolled by this new plate. In fact, I bet a bunch of communist fucks, guess what? I bet they are going to think and believe that that's not a real license plate. That's not a real license plate. That's not allowed. Yeah, I love Florida, folks. I think it's absolutely amazing what they're doing over there. Let's do this. Let's get to another super chat donation. If you've got one, get it up there. Hit that button, make a donation. Tell me what's on your mind. You can just pick a subject and I will elaborate on it in a way that I think is, appropriate. Bob Hunter checks in again with a £5 super chat donation. And he says, love shall prevail. And folks, that's not some romantic Shakespearean bullshit, right? What did we talk about just a few minutes ago based on Bob's earlier question, right? The respect that one human has for another is love. The generosity that you have towards other humans is love, right? Respect for yourself, respecting others. It is people who don't respect themselves are the ones who don't love others. People who don't love themselves want to destroy themselves. Take a look at what children are doing to themselves. They are convinced by these communist bastards in school to hate themselves, to hate their race, to hate their country, to hate their parents. And so they are mutilating themselves, folks, mutilating themselves. I had an article, a story that it crushed me to hear that more government organizations, in fact, here it is right here. In Boston, a children's hospital, folks. They're supposed to love children, want to heal children, help children. They created a video promoting hysterectomies, folks, the removal of one's reproductive organs. They are promoting the sterilization of children. How is it that a children's hospital is helping when, in fact, they are confirming to the children that self-destruction, self-mutilation is acceptable? And the only reason that they come to this idea that self-mutilation is a good idea is because they've been taught, convinced, brainwashed to hate themselves by recognized authority figures in their lives, be it their family, extended family, friends, and educators in school, as well as scumbags in politics who believe that this is a great idea. Hey, it's spay your children's neuter, right? Spay your kids month. Spay and neuter your children. What the fuck is going on? A children's hospital? It's not Shriners. It's not St. Jude's. Boston's Children's Hospital. Unbelievable. Let me see which one it is exactly. I'll be disgusted when I learn the name of it, or if it's just called Boston's Children's Hospital. Yep, there it is. Boston Children's Hospital is facing backlash. You fucking believe it is, right? The video features Dr. Francis Grimstad. Is that Francis boy or Francis girl? An obstetrician gynecologist. It was posted, folks, this video on Libs of TikTok, which is a Twitter account, Libs of TikTok, to show you what these frickin' liberal scumbags are doing. They're teaching children to hate themselves and then tell them, we're giving you gender-affirming hysterectomy, right? This sterilization. How is that love? It's not. It's destruction. It's destruction, folks. That's what these people want. Unbelievable. To love someone is to respect them and to be honest with them, truthful, not mean. You don't have to be brutally honest where you're insulting people. You don't have to come out of your way to make someone feel bad about themselves by being honest with them. You want people to understand truth and know what love truly is. It's like they don't even know how to teach love anymore. These liberal fucks, right? And once again, I'm this big masculine character out here, 6'6", giant white Swede, right? Big Viking bastard. Why is it that I understand what love is and these other people lie about it? Unbelievable. Let's do another super chat donation. We're just short of 400 people live on a Monday night, folks. Now we got Bob Hunter is back again with another 10-pound super chat donation. He says, John, the trouble with most people is that they do not know their enemy. How can we convince our dear friends that the real enemy is the government? Well, I'll tell you, Bob. Let me get a quick sip to wet my whistle. Naivete. Being naive. That is easy to fool. It's easier with people who are ignorant or uneducated. And we aren't even talking about street smarts or IQ. We're just talking about uneducated people. People who have been lied to from their youth don't know what the truth is. Now, back in history, the founding fathers of the United States, Bob, believed that education, a real education, reading, writing, arithmetic, they hadn't really invented critical thinking as an actual science yet. But Thomas Paine wrote a book called Common Sense back in the 1700s. You know, common sense, common law, it was known, right? But critical thinking techniques were advanced and developed over time to where they got that name. But intelligence was based on experience and education. Education being real history also, right? The facts, right? You hold up a rock, you let it go, it drops. Lands on your foot, it hurts. You can repeat that as many times as you want and it'll continue to hurt. Eventually, you'll move your foot out of the way before the rock hits it. That is an action taken based on an understanding of reality, right? In fact, that rock is going to hurt your foot, right? So you say, how can we convince our dear friends that the real enemy is the government? When you look at history that repeats again and again and again, it demonstrates that government is evil and that government hurts. It takes your money. It takes control away from your life. It takes the lives of people away. It dominates, it taxes, it abuses to the point that it gets out of control. It's the same as picking up a rock and dropping it and it landing on your foot and hurting. Eventually, if you see enough of it, you come to understand that that rock is going to hurt you if it's dropped. People believe that government is good because government tells us it's good. The media tells us the government is good. You see, we developed and created governments to serve us. That is, to do good things, right? To protect us from enemies foreign, to protect us and protect the peace domestically. That is what government is supposed to do, serve us. But now government taxes us and it makes deals. It brokers deals with our enemies. And government agents, that is elected politicians, bureaucrats, they make deals to enrich themselves, not for the benefit of the country, but for the benefit of themselves. And then the government begins to abuse its own people by stealing their liberties, by punishing them with taxes, and by throwing them in jail when they don't do as the government demands. May I quote Biden, heir apparent Emperor Gigi dipshit Biden? My patience is wearing thin. That's a threat from a presumptuous wannabe king, right? His regal eminence, right? Biden, right? When someone's a tyrant, you don't respect them. You respect the damage they can do to you, but you don't respect them. But the people you're talking about, how can we convince our dear friends, our families, our loved ones, people we care about, how can we convince them that the real enemy is the government? It is only through education that is reaffirmed by more and more examples of tyrannical government destroying people. That's why I point to communism, folks, directly. The Chinese communists, the Russian communists, and I like to, of course, throw in the Nazi fascist government. They're all socialism and forms of social authoritarianism. Those three examples from the last 100 years demonstrate that the government is willing to kill, to murder its own people for its own political and personal gains. Right? That is those who control those governments, their personal gains, and the power of the state. All three of those regimes have existed in the last 100 years. The Soviet communists, the Chinese communists, and folks, the Nazi Social Workers' Party, the Nazi Party, right? Hitler, Stalin, Lenin, right? Mao, right? If our dear friends and our family, our kith and kin, do not see the threat coming just from those very three examples, killing over 100 million of their own peoples, not to mention those people that they've attacked in war and murdered in their cause celeb, whatever it was, whether it was in defense or in offense of others. They are murderous regimes. I haven't even gotten into, folks, King Louis, how many people died as a result of his tyranny, King George and other regents in England and the Great Britain, not to mention all of the tyrants who have been leaders of African nations, South American nations. It's unbelievable, folks. It is government through its power, its desire that has killed billions of people over millennia. The Roman Empire, how many suffered under that iron fist? Persian Empire, Genghis Khan and the hordes of Mongols. The Vikings, they indiscriminately killed anyone, right? In means, right? Their plunder. Tyrants, barbarians, lawlessness, if you will. That is not to say that there weren't good people who lived amongst the Vikings and good people who lived amongst the Mongols and within the Roman Empire. Of course, there's good people there, folks. But what you're saying is the real enemy is government. That is those who conscript and convince others to fight and kill others for them. Conscript, mercenaries, people who are hired or forced to act as agents of war and death. The IRS in America is hiring agents. They're conscripting people for pay to accept the charge, the duty, the job of holding a gun and holding a badge and making a demand. Give me your money or I'll kill you. The real enemy is the government. Thank you, Bob Hunter. It's a terrible subject, folks, but one that we need to be familiar with. One that we need to be very well familiar with for ourselves, so that you can speak not authoritatively. You don't have to have a degree. You just have to know some facts and then invite people. Would you please take a look at this and tell me I'm wrong? Next time we meet, whether it's tomorrow or next week, whether it's at work or at the lodge or at the park, or at the ball game, at the bar, tell me, right? You get me 3 examples of government that has caused others to kill people, and let's talk about it. And then look at where we're at today, right? Was Boris Johnson the good guy? Is Trudeau the good guy? Is Putin a good guy? Is Biden a good guy? Was Obama a good guy? Or let's just look at not just individuals, but governments. And I'll even pick on the government of Washington, D.C., called the United States government. Right? How good is it? How good is the government organization, the military organization called NATO? Right? Why was it that Muammar Gaddafi, why was it that he was attacked on the streets and murdered? Do you know how generous he was to his own people? I mean, I think Muammar is a jackass, but, did he deserve to be murdered and dragged through the streets and violated, sodomized for the pleasure of people who were conscripted to perform these acts? And what became of Libya after this happened? Was it better for the people or worse? Well, I tell you what, folks, I wouldn't want to live in Libya. Let me refrain. Let me say that a different way. I would have rather lived in Muammar Gaddafi's Libya as this man right here, a white American. I would rather live there during Muammar's time than today. Got a $50 shot sitting right here. And I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think? We got another super chat donation, I think. So let's get it up on the board. It's Bob Hunter. Bob, my Scottish brother, another £5 super chat donation. He says, thanks once more, John. I like being challenged in all ways, but I become very passionate when it's philosophical in nature. Folks, I've been on here with you for 90 minutes plus tonight on a Monday night. Our kids are back in school as Americans, and probably around the world as well. Children back to school right now in America. Kids are laboring over homework. Do I have to do my homework, Mom? Come on, Dad. No, homework time. I'm glad that you guys are taking time to share with me the world that we're dealing with, right? It's incredible. And I want to thank everyone who's joined us at the preparedmind.club. That's not only your superstore, but it is now where you can directly sign up for premium membership to watch all videos and watch most of them live, right? The evening broadcast we do Monday through Friday, you get to watch live as a premium member on the preparedmind.club and subscribestar.com. Let's do this. Let's get another super chat on the board, and then we'll move along. Oops. Don't worry, Jolene. Leave that up there for a few seconds. Go ahead and put that up there for a few seconds, the website. A lot of people don't realize you can go to this address right here and sign up for premium membership. We also have Prepper Coach with John. And everyone, no, I won't say everyone because we've gotten a few that don't. But I've gotten a lot where people say, I just want to talk about shit that's going on. Just stuff that I just want to share my mentality with you. And I've talked to others who have said, it's just nice to talk to somebody that doesn't think you're crazy for seeing all the things we do. But I want to add this. I believe that a lot more people out there know that what's going on is going on and it's wrong, but they don't know anyone they feel comfortable about sharing their opinion or admitting it. And that's why when you share this internet address right up there, right off the screen, pow, that internet address, when you share that and say, hey, why don't you take a look at this? They'll watch the video and they're going to get information out of it that's going to be key and vital to helping them understand that, right, government is not their buddy, the government's dangerous, that their rights are first and foremost. And they'll get to think those thoughts, whether they come back and share them with you and say thank you, or pretend like, hey, man, it's cool. They don't want to be known for it. They don't want to associate with it, but it'll get into their heads, folks, and they'll start thinking. Or if they're weak, they'll reject it because they're afraid. They're afraid to be responsible for themselves. But at some point, folks, everyone gets to choose a side. You'll have people that fight for liberty. You'll have people who want to destroy liberty. And there's going to be a large percentage of the population in the middle who's like, man, it's cool. I don't want any part of this. Tell you what, those people ought not be allowed to vote. I think that in order to vote, you have to pledge your willingness to support freedom and liberty with all your heart and soul and even your life. I don't think you should get to vote. I mean, the more I learn, unless you have a stake in the game, none of this, well, I'm breathing oxygen, so I think I should be able to vote to steal other people's money. Well, fuck you too. And here's another group that deserves nothing but scorn, folks. Right? In the wake of failed Biden and failed anti-freedom movements and failed pro-dead baby unrest and failed socialist urges and surges and failed everything and the resulting SHTF from their programs, folks, the deep state, Illuminati, globalist, liberal world order, they have turned the turbaned gang loose on us again. Now, just a few days ago, Salman Rushdie, he seemed to be the first to be attacked in this new wave of terror born from Middle Eastern lack of philosophy, right? This guy, another Middle Easterner, one of their believers, attacked with a knife, right? I tell you, let me back up a little bit. We had someone attack Salman Rushdie and stab him over a dozen times, send him to the hospital. Then we had someone else killed. Then we had a woman on a plane charge the cockpit shouting, now you'll have to read between the lines, shouting, "Aloha snack bar." Aloha snack bar. You know what I mean. Then the author of Harry Potter, folks, the author of Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, books, kind of came to the support of Salman Rushdie, who wrote the satanic verses referring to the Quran. That's what he called it, satanic verses referring to the Quran. She twittered out her support. R.K. Rowling twittered her support for Salman Rushdie and free speech. And she received a threatening response, right? I think this is incredible. Oh, the threatening response is, "You're next," right? So radical Middle Eastern belief systems are being used once again and being set loose on the public, right? If you thought we had it bad with Antifa and Black Lives Matter, if you thought you had it rough with radicalized government institutions and political parties, not only attacking our voting system, but our rights in general, now we have these radical Middle Eastern believers, right? Well, hey, folks, the timing is beautiful. If you're a Democrat, right, and you need distractions and chaos and hatred and fear before an election, they're coming after us, folks. They're not quitting. They're going to turn up the heat. They're going to make things more difficult. You're going to feel like we're being attacked on all sides from every direction. And believe me, if you feel that way, it's because it's true. And I really believe that we need to put on the armor of truth. The armor of truth. You need to put on the word of truth and wear it on your heart, right? We need to be in good physical shape. as best as you can, right? I discovered as I get older that, I am not, I'm not Superman anymore. I'm not bulletproof. Okay, that's just a fact, right? We all get older, we all get weaker, but we need to stay in the best shape we can. We need to give it as much attention and time as we can. We need to train for self-defense, to defend ourselves, our family, our loved ones, and our nation. We need to do all these things. We need to prep. Unfortunately, folks, there is a cost to being free. Nothing is easy, and being free definitely is not free in terms of dollars and cents. You have to commit yourselves. You have to expose yourselves. Not like the leftists who believe in rainbows, not that kind of exposure, not showing up in the street wearing perverted outfits and proclaiming to the world that you participate in all manner of sodomy in order to gain acceptance. No, that's not what I'm talking about, right? We need to expose ourselves personally to our own reality and understand how we can best fight. And the fight is coming. Let's do this. Let's take another super chat donation. We got about 20 minutes left in the show, folks. And it is Jay Miskinnis again with a 1, 2, 3 super chat donation. And he says, I am ignoring for the most part the immoral ignorance around here. I'm sorry, John. Right now, in the comment section, I don't read them during the show. It's really important to focus on the questions. It's really important to focus on the messages that we need to get out. Now, John is referring to the ignorance all over the place. We have trolls, folks, and behind the scenes, Ooman eliminates them, gets rid of them. We have rules in place to stop that, but no system is perfect, right? And beyond social media, if we just say around here, meaning our environment, outside above the prepared bunker, right? There are idiots running about. And just a few years ago, the idiots outnumbered the sane, normal people. But now, folks, the idiots are outnumbered. In other words, good quality human beings. There we go. He says, I meant around here in my geography. I'm with you, man. I appreciate you clarifying that you didn't mean on the Prepared Mind channel itself, but I was referring to basically social media in general, as well as this channel. They try to get in and we kick them the fuck out. But yeah, in our geography, where we live, Republicans, conservatives, constitutionalists, if you will, free men and women are moving and relocating to where there are good people or to good environments where smart, intelligent, educated people will thrive, right? Will thrive, while the ignorant and stupid will more than likely perish or cause themselves to expire one way or another. You can be outnumbered by lunatics, folks, but let me use this analogy, if I may, this metaphor. If you're outnumbered 10-1, just being told the odds 10-1, you're outnumbered. The enemy is outnumbering you 10-1. You would think, oh shit, I'm gonna fucking die. Now let me tell you the 10-1 odds again. The 10-1 is 10 unarmed people coming at you, and you have a sporting rifle with a 30-round standard capacity magazine. Who do you think is going to win if they're 100 feet away and charging at you? Right? All of a sudden, 10-1 odds are different. Let me put this out to you a different way. The odds are 10-1. You're outnumbered, but the 10 are wearing blindfolds. They can't see. How dangerous are they? Now, being blind is another way to express that someone or a group of people are ignorant. They're blind to the truth. They're blind to facts. They're blind to reality. They're blind to the problems and difficulties of geographic location and other factors that mitigate against stupidity. In other words, only the intelligent, strong, and knowledgeable can survive. What are your odds if you're educated, you're intelligent, you're informed, and you're prepared, fully prepared, and the 10 that outnumber you are not? They're neither intelligent, informed, trained, or principled, much less prepared. Understand what I'm saying? Being outnumbered is not always a detriment, folks. In fact, the ignorant are so ignorant that they will maintain a lie amongst themselves, wanting to believe that rather than accept they're going to lose for their ignorance. And they kill themselves. Once again, folks, the diabolical often destroy themselves in an effort, right? Because of their massive ignorance. Do not lose heart if you cannot leave and go anywhere else. Get your super chat donations in, folks. That button right up there. Or you can go to PayPal. Our PayPal address is in the description down below. We also have a CashApp link. If you choose to use those ways to contact us and let us know you have an idea, a thought, a topic, or whatever. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible, folks, how I learn from you guys and how you, through your questions, help others learn, right? Just today, we had Bob from Scotland check in a number of times. And through his questions, allowed me to, right, illuminate, talk, describe, right, to vocalize my thoughts, my understanding, my experience, and share it. And those words will get out there and help others. So by supporting this channel, you support the increase in thought, intelligence, wisdom, experience of others. And then you bring more people here where they share their ideas and thoughts in the comments section. And then we share the internet address and it reaches out and it affects even more people. And this is the power, and I hate to admit it because I've seen how ignorance takes over social media, but how intelligent thought blossoms on social media. And that is why the political leftist scumbag communists want to shut us down on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, oh yes, and YouTube. Not to mention just Google in general and the internet en masse. How they're wanting to use political institutions and banking institutions and even private corporations and use their censoring and capacity to terminate employment as a threat. Once again, evil destroys. Evil makes demands. You stop thinking. You don't get to say that. You can't believe that. Or you're a bad person. You have a low social credit score. And we're going to cancel your ass like a stamp. I'll tell you what, folks. I don't subscribe to that notion, right, that I should be silent in order to get a meager paycheck. Instead, I'll be free. I'll be free. And you guys support that because you are freedom-minded. And then we can use, folks, social media. And that's why this is incredible, folks. I've been all over Twitter. We had, I think, 823 subscribers or followers on Twitter. And in 3 weeks of twittering and retweeting and, doing thumbs up, likes, hearts, whatever, we've grown a total of 7 new followers. That is how much we are shadow banned on Twitter. They do not want an alternative opinion out there. They hate it. It's incredible, folks. Incredible. Right? Sharing my wisdom experience on Twitter and it gets fucking flagged. They're afraid of us, folks, because truth shall prevail. So if they silence truth, that is censor it, take away your First Amendment right, then they have effectively killed the message. And then they begin to fight the messenger. That is you and me. Right? If they silence our message, then they come after you and me as the messenger. So I can be both message and messenger on social media, and you've been supporting that. Let's do another super chat donation. We got about 10 minutes left, folks. And holy cow, it's Bob Hunter again. Someone's going to think that Bob Hunter is actually Ooman in disguise. He's got another 10-pound super chat donation. And he says, John, have you ever been alone in life? And if so, how did you feel? I've been alone for over 30 years. Well, I've been alive for 52 years, Bob. It's a personal question. You may mean, have I been alone? That is without a partner, without, without a significant other. Yeah, I mean, I got divorced back in 2015, I filed for divorce, and it was finalized the next year. And I'm not remarried. Before I was married, I was alone and felt very alone, but only in ways romantic. But there are times when I felt like I wasn't cared for, felt alone, if you want to mean that. But there's so many different levels that the human mind and the human heart need companionship to feel whole, complete, important, etc. It's really a tough subject, and it's one that causes us as human beings to despair. When I was at the RMZ, I was incredibly alone. Right? I communicated with great friends like Uman and Jolene, who I consider great friends. I communicated with great friends like Crispy Bacon and many others. Well, there was at least half a dozen that were very close to me. And then a lot of other people who communicated with me from time to time, family included, folks. I had family as well, but I felt alone in that place. It was really a great experience for just over 100 days, right? Because boy, when I dropped myself off or had myself dropped off in the jungle, boy, was that a strange feeling. Having nothing but a few bags and a couple weeks worth of food to survive on. It was a bit strange. Apparently my plan was good because I survived and I didn't contract any diseases, illnesses. But have I ever been alone in life? And so how did you feel? Man, I felt degreeing variations of loss. And when you're alone, you go through a myriad of sensations and experiences and emotions of not being loved. I know I don't know if I'm answering the question the way you want, but I've experienced it all. I felt despair. I felt like I was unwanted, unneeded. And this comes also at a time when I was, I had this channel. Thousands of people want to hear from me on a daily basis, if not just on a weekly basis, on the Sunday Night Live or Monday Night Live, as we're doing tonight. But you still feel alone. You can be loved at work and you'll feel alone. You can be loved in your personal life and feel alone at work, right? You can have close friends and then not feel loved or feel like you're alone with your family, like your family doesn't accept you. There's so many different ways that we as humans, we're very complex people, right? Some people feel more accepted and loved in their church or at work or with a single person that they share their life with personally, or a group of very close friends. There's different ways. A lot of us as humans feel alone except with our pets. A lot of people have pets that they're very close with. And they've shared with me their thoughts on why their pet is so important to them, dogs and cats. It's very interesting. But I've felt all levels of abandonment and aloneness on all of these different levels, from family to friends to partner, etc. Feelings, and it's tough, right? It's part of the human experience, I think, why we live, right? And that's why I feel that I've lived an incredible life, because I've had all of the goods as well as the bads. I've lived a full life, right? Having had and then lost money, love, family, etc., friends. And I'm happy to report that, right, I have all of you as my friends and people that care, right? As well as people in my personal life that are close, as well as family members. And it's part of the human experience. And I think that rather than dwell on the negative aspect of it, try and remain positive and then find the good that's in life. Anyways, thank you again, Bob. And I hope that you find what it is you're looking for and that you live the best life you can. All right, let's do this. We've got a few more super chats. We're at the 2-hour mark almost, and I'll keep talking as long as you guys want to keep talking. We got the Piping Shrike in with a $10 super chat. It's a 10 Australian. Where's that? Argentine dollars. I keep forgetting. Anyway, he says, John, can someone join without providing their credit card number over the internet? I think Jolene would be best to answer that question. Maybe she can do it in the comments. I think there's a way to do that. Whether it's a prepaid credit card, something you just go buy with cash and then you put on there. She'll hopefully point it out for you. Yeah, you don't have to have a credit card. A debit card works. It's a pain in the ass, I know. It truly is. That's why we try and do things like with CashApp and PayPal. If you were to do that, CashApp or PayPal, let's find out from Jolene if that can just be transferred over to the membership. But I'll leave that up to her. She is the expert. I'm just the dude that talks. And we got Crazy Uncle checking in with a $5 super chat donation. And he's got his weekly prepper tip. And thank you, Crazy Uncle. He said, vehicles are going to be lifesavers in SHTF. PMCS them and have fluids on standby. Also, a small compressor in your vehicle is just as smart. Preventative maintenance, care, and servicing, PMCS, have fluids on standby. Fluids on standby meaning oil and fuels. Vehicles are going to be lifesavers. I used to recommend keeping by following all local, city, county ordinances and safety requirements, keeping fuel on hand. If you get a little low on fuel, you can use that, say 5 gallons of gas, and then refilling that and storing that for a couple of months, and then recycling it, or rather using it again later in the future. The point of that is to have an extra 5 gallons on hand, or 10. And if your car gets 30 miles to the gallon and you've got 10 gallons of gas, that'll get you another 300 miles down the road. Whether it's 300 miles in a straight line or 100 miles there and back if you need to travel in SHTF, yeah. Right, and then the small compressor in your vehicle. You could end up with a flat tire or some kind of damage or something like that, and you want it fixed, right? Or maybe someone else needs air. So having additional oil and fuel, you could help others as well as helping yourself. You can make allies that way, folks. It's incredible. And it's really incredible that on a Monday night, we have over 350 people live right now after 2 hours of serious SHTF discussion about what is happening. And I've got another topic I have to end the show on. You're gonna fucking love it. Now this opinion isn't shared by all, but I'm telling you, it's important to understand that they're so scared in the World Economic Forum. They're so scared at the globalist level that they're now fighting themselves. I'll get to that as soon as I'm done with Blue Cord Devil, who has a super chat donation. Was that Blue Cord Devil? Yep, it was, with a 762 donation. And he says, update, Jerry's doctor hasn't given up on her and has a plan ready for her. I just wanted to say thank you to the Prepared Mind family for all the prayers. Thanks again. Prayers to you as well, Blue Cord Devil. Folks, the wife needs medical attention, and prayers, I know, are a big part of healing and recovery. So I will ask again for the prayers of everyone. Let's hope and help and do what we can. Thank you, Blue Cord Devil, for always being there for us. Now, I think we've got all the super chat donations in. We're at 2 hours. And unless more come in, I'll be done. But first, I want to talk about this, and then we'll sign off or continue, depending on what you want to talk about. Now, I see that there is infighting. I see that there's a schism at the World Economic Forum and amongst the Bilderbergers. I think they're struggling for their new world order or their liberal world order. I think that there's a little bit of a difference between the liberal world order that Biden's talking about, which loves war and conflict and destruction, and the new world order, which also employs all of these methodologies to control the world. But who, folks, is in charge at the very top? Now, we have Joe Biden being told what to do by people who pull his strings, and he's a warmongering old bastard. And I think that this is scaring Henry Kissinger, who came out a couple of months ago and said, hey, when it comes to Ukraine, it's time to stop it. It's time to back off on Russia. We're going to create a long-term issue with Russia that we don't want to have to deal with. And this is coming from a man, Henry Kissinger, Folks, the man has got to be almost 100 years old. He's a fossil. He's going to die any day from anything. Who knows? Why does he give a shit? Well, he must see something, right? So this this article came out, and I'm going to read some from it, and some of this will be my thoughts as well. But this is what is being understood, right? Mr. Kissinger, Henry Kissinger, folks, he was, I think, the Secretary of State under the Nixon administration back in 1970 to 74, right? Actually, no, he left a little bit early, right? Mr. Kissinger sees today's world as verging on a dangerous disequilibrium. Quote, we are at the edge of war with Russia and China on issues which we partly created without any concept of how this is going to end or what it's supposed to lead to. That's what Kissinger said, folks. Without any concept, which we partly created. He's blaming them, the World Economic Forum. Kissinger is blaming Biden and the political puppets. He's blaming the globalists for this war. Right? Kissinger continues, you can't just now say we're going to split them off and turn them against each other, speaking about Russia and China and Europe. All you can do is not accelerate the tensions and to create options. And for that, you have to have some purpose. So what's that mean? Some purpose. They're just purposefully creating war for the benefits it provides their supporters, that is the military-industrial complex. But they don't really have a plan, this liberal world order, other than to create destruction and benefit from government authoritarianism that steps in, right, to the void. Now, on the question of Taiwan, Mr. Kissinger worries that the U.S. and China are maneuvering toward a crisis, and he is counseling Washington, D.C. He says, quote, the policy that was carried out by both parties, meaning Democrats and Republicans, the policy that was carried out by both parties has produced and allowed the progress of Taiwan into an autonomous democratic entity and has preserved peace between China and the U.S. for 50 years. One should be very careful, therefore, in measures that seem to change the basic structure. In other words, what is Biden and Pelosi and their policy doing? It's removing the balance. It is removing the status quo, and they're introducing new elements that takes things out of balance. It changes the basic structure, and that can lead to conflict. And that's what we're seeing is a bunch of rhetoric and warring going on. A World Economic Forum, a Bilderberger, an Illuminati member, a globalist, right? A beneficiary of U.S. domestic power, Henry Kissinger, right? Doesn't like what these people are doing. Now, I'll read a little bit more from this article and then finish it there. This is what he has to say, folks, right? I mean, it's not just quote, but some commentary as well. Mr. Kissinger courted controversy earlier this year. And folks, this is when it got my attention, that there is a problem with these people. They're fighting amongst themselves. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't have a plan, folks, for these countries that they're starting conflicts with, Russia and China. If they don't have a solid plan for them, what do you think they think of us? They don't have a solid plan for us either. We are just collateral damage for their efforts. That's what I have to say about this. But Mr. Kissinger courted controversy earlier this year by suggesting that incautious policies on the part of the United States government and NATO may have touched off the crisis in Ukraine. In other words, the crisis in Ukraine, the Russian invasion, was caused by incautious policy, that is, threatening policies by the United States, European Union, the United Kingdom, the Brits, and NATO. They were incautious. That is, they antagonized Russia. And that started back in 2014 when they took over Ukraine, and it's resulted in this war. Now, Kissinger sees no choice but to take Vladimir Putin's stated security concerns seriously and believes that it was a mistake for NATO and the U.S. to signal to Ukraine that it might eventually join the alliance, to join NATO. quote, I thought that Poland, all the traditional Western countries that have a part of Western history, were logical members of NATO. But Ukraine, in his view, folks, is a collection of territories that once were part of Russia, which Russians sees as their own, even though some of the Ukrainians, right, do not. In other words, they're tearing Ukraine apart, folks. They're ignoring local cultures, local traditions, local law, local belief systems. They don't give a shit. They're just fucking with all that and imposing on Ukrainians. They're projecting onto Ukraine our US government and our NATO values. When I say our, I mean them. The United States government values and NATO or European values, they're projecting them onto Ukraine and saying, accept our value system. And if you don't, your culture, tradition, laws, and rules and beliefs, they're pissing on them and saying, no, you'll accept ours. And the people who live within Ukraine, whether they're ethnic Russians or ethnic Ukrainians or ethnic Belarusians or any other ethnic groups, they're being told they don't matter, right? Well, it does matter. And now there's a huge fight within Ukraine, right? Once again, divide and conquer. Once again, start a war and then benefit from it. That's what the West is doing. And they don't really give a fuck about the Ukrainian people who have spoken publicly and said, we haven't seen any support from America. Some people have seen some weapons. Some people have seen, some support, but they're not better off for this, $65 billion in cash and weapons that have been sent over there. Where did that go? What's it doing? Seriously, right? It's unbelievable. Folks, it's unbelievable what is happening. Yes, it's unbelievable. Shit has hit the fan, folks. Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. I want to thank everyone for all your support today, for your support last week, last month, last year, and I want to thank you for supporting this show moving forward. It's not going to get easier for us, folks, whether it's here on this show or in your own lives. So we need to stand up for ourselves, stand up for each other, stand up for freedom. We have to make a stand for what's right, or don't bother standing at all. Chance favors the prepared mind. Our motto, Semper Fi, another motto that I live by, right? Always faithful to what you know to be true and honest, good and right. And at some point, it's going to be get some. That get some moment is coming for a lot of us. Are you ready? God bless America. God bless all those that have freedom and love in their heart. Right? And don't worry, there are plenty of enemies also. I'll be back tomorrow morning, bright and early, and we'll do it again. I've got some great stuff that I need to talk about, but I think a little bit of physical rest on my part, and I'll be ready for it. I hope you will join me too. Don't forget to share that internet address right up there. And thank you for sharing your time, your insights, your thoughts with all of us. Godspeed.